All right, it looks like we're live. Hello, hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Let me make some adjustments here real quick. All right, welcome, everybody. It is so nice to see you. Welcome to Soul Pet. This is a channel dedicated to all of us who have been through the loss of an animal companion or the loss of more than one animal companion, here to support each other. So it is so great to see you guys. Lots to cover tonight. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Everybody, fingers crossed, toes crossed that we have a solid internet connection. I am in my happy place today. I'm in Breckenridge. So my mountain girl's back in her mountains, and hopefully everything is cool with the internet. So last week, as you guys know, we had some internet trouble. And there's parts of Colorado where it's a black hole. And it's suburban Denver is where I was last week, but there's this one town that gets the worst internet service. But how bizarre that it just disappeared. Like even everything that I had recorded up to that moment in time, it disappeared. So I believe in divine timing. And that's what I think why this message was postponed till tonight. But before we dive in, let's say hello to everybody. First, a welcome to all my beautiful channel members, and a welcome to anybody who might be new to this channel. And whether you are watching this live or on the replay, Soul Pet was inspired by my beautiful Lucy, who crossed to the Rainbow Bridge in August of 2020. We just celebrated her 5-year transition anniversary, and followed right thereafter by Winston, and then shortly thereafter by Jack. So my beautiful 3 senior dogs all at the Rainbow Bridge, and they have inspired this channel to help others navigate the journey wherever you happen to be on that journey. We are here to support you, and you'll find in the comments, if you follow along, that that everybody will offer you not just a virtual hug, but they will support you in all ways. We are very unjudgmental here, and just it's our purpose. It's our purpose is to support each other. Okay, so my name's Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master, an animal chaplain, and an animal medium. I work with animals here and on the other side of life. I receive beautiful messages from the animals on the other side of life that I love to share with you. And not only do we talk about ways that we can support each other through the loss of our animal companions, but we also take a little bit of, we do a little dive down the rabbit hole. We talk about some woo-woo stuff. And I'm looking for a new word if anybody wants to suggest, because it's no longer woo-woo. This is becoming the new normal. There are so many people out there now who are recognizing that our reality, as we have been taught, is not just our reality, that there is so much more to this. And our animal companions, especially the ones who have crossed to the other side, are the ones who are helping us wake up to the fact that there is so much more than meets the physical eye. But first, let's say hello to all my channel members, because I love you guys so much. You're so patient with me, especially when it comes to technical glitches, because I'm a low-tech woman in a high-tech world, and I make do. I do the best that I possibly can, and I appreciate your support. So let's say hello to Pat. It is awesome to see you, Pat. You're going to kick us off with some great questions. I know it. Kali, it's great to see you as well. Who else? Sharon, awesome to have you here. Kathy H. Hello, hello. Dana, great to see you from the other side of the planet. And Sharon, awesome to have you here also. Sherry, great to see you. Caroline, fantastic to see you here too. Look at all these great people jumping on. Kathy Reynolds, my other cat. I talk about my 2 Kathys, Kathy H and Kathy R. And did I miss Jody? There's Jody. How you doing, Jody? Good to see you. And let me scroll back up and see if we've got anybody else here I want to say hello to. So I love to say hello to my channel members first. I appreciate your support so much. Charlie, it is great to see you here. And I will say hello to everybody as I see the comments come in. Now, as for the comments, and I'm going to get to those questions, and we are going to talk about what it means when I say that pets open the door to heaven. And it's very much tied into the topic that we would have had last week about entangled hearts. And I know in the beginning, I had started talking about quantum entanglement and what that meant. And I suspect that I may have been trying too hard to explain what that means. And of course, with a week to think about this, the animals have shown me some new direction to go with this. But we'll get into that topic. We'll handle all of your Q&A. And I did see a couple comments that I want to get to almost right away. So if you are a person who is fond of live streams, then join right along with us. I have changed the settings on the live stream so that now anybody who watches the live streams, even afterwards, can access all of the comments in real time so that you can kind of see where the conversation goes. I take our question and answers from our members and all of the viewers as inspired questions from the universe. And we're going to talk about what that means to me in just a minute. But I take these as inspired questions, and there's a reason somebody has asked them, and there's a reason that the answer needs to be shared. So I love to share the Q&A. And we'll begin with that. And then don't hesitate to keep asking. Now, for the comments, I will try not to watch. Again, I'm not in my normal setup. My camera's, because I'm making hand gestures. I'm not in my normal setup, so I have to have the camera right in front of me with all my comments. So I'm going to try not to get distracted by those comments, and I'll scroll back through if I see anything that I may have missed that you guys want to address. Otherwise, hold your questions and answers till the end, like when we start to talk about pets opening the door to heaven, and anything that has to do with quantum entanglement, and I will make sure to address those at the very end. Was there something else that I wanted to say? Oh, somebody had asked a question about the trailer. Tonight was the first night that I put a trailer. Well, I'm always experimenting and I'm always playing. And yeah, that was the first time I tried using a trailer. And it prompts you, if you've ever thought about starting your own YouTube channel, give me a call and let me know, because I've done this all by trial and error. Everything I've done is by trial and error. I don't have any like team. So this is all just me, myself, and I. And sometimes my IT team lets me down. The trailer, every time that I set up the live stream, it asks if I'd like to do a trailer, and I always just disregard it. But today I figured, why not? I've got a little bit of extra time as I sit here enjoying my beautiful mountain air and the mountain sunshine and the aspens right outside my window here. So that's where the trailer came from. Yeah. Hang on a second. Look, my my live stream started on my phone. Okay, let's put that to see. Low tech woman, high tech world. Hold on, I gotta get rid of the phone. Now it's playing all kinds of videos. Oh my gosh.
Healing.
Listen to this. Oh, look, it's Suzanne Giesman. We're going to take that as a sign that the video that pops up is Suzanne Giesman, who is one of the people who I practiced with to learn how to understand the connections that I was receiving from animals on the other side of life. There we go. I think we got that under control. So let's say hello to everybody. All right, Pat, it is always so nice to hear from you. You have the best questions to start us off. And what is our first question this evening? How do pets communicate with each other on the other side if they're in spirit form? It's the same. I'm going to give this answer time and time again, and it's okay. Keep asking the questions, because I think one of the reasons why we ask these questions is because we're trying to get a deeper understanding of where our animal companions are, how we can be in touch with them, how they can reincarnate. What does reincarnation mean? How can they talk to others at the same time that they're talking to us? How can you be connected to them when they're sending me a message to me? It's because when we leave our physical body, there are no rules. There's no rules. The only things that we know are things that we've been told. Even the things I tell you, I would suggest to you that you question everything and start looking into it yourself. And the first place to start looking into something is to go inside. You've got the answers, or you've got access to the answers by being able to connect with the quantum field, which we're going to talk about, the field of all knowledge, the field of all information, the field of everything that ever was, is, or will be. That's where the answers come from. And when we pass out of our physical body, not just pets, not just animals, but people too, anything that has a soul, any living thing that has a soul, when we transition out of the physical body here, we transition into that ether. I don't have the words to describe what the quantum field is, even though tonight I'm going to try to do a little bit more description. I've got my notes sitting on my lap. There are no rules, and we are capable of anything and everything. And here's one more little mind-blowing thing. If you want to think about this, Pat, and anybody who has the same question, me too. Even as a piece of us is in this physical body, this here, Elaine, right now, the person, the soul that's residing in this body, there is a different version of me out there somewhere else exploring all different other things. And I'm okay with that. I like to think about integrating all of that and understanding what those experiences are. But Our soul on the other side of the physical is capable of so much more than we can possibly believe. We can communicate with anybody and anything that we choose to. And that includes trees and crystals and water. I talk about water all the time because I know that there's something more to communicating with water than we can possibly know, which reminds me to take a beautiful drink of my mountain spring water, taking in all that beautiful energy from my water. Uh, Pat had asked a question last week. So even all the questions, everything disappeared last week. So we chalk it up to divine timing. For whatever reason, the message needed to be tweaked and the message needed to be pushed back till tonight. And I'm totally on board with that. Um, how you and your husband ended up living on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere. It's because we bought a piece of land and our intention was to build on that piece of land. And in the end, things did not work out, which again, I believe in the wonderful plan that sometimes I don't have access to, or that we don't have access to. Ooh, as I lose everything here. It didn't work out for various reasons, and one of them having to do with water. But that's how we ended up on the top of a mountain, because we wanted a beautiful piece of quiet land away from people. And that turned out to be a thing too. There was a lot more people that wanted to have that same slice of the mountaintop. And we just wanted to be left by ourselves with the animals. For me, with the animals, that if there's one thing that I miss about living on top of that mountain, it was not the 9 months of snow for sure, but it was absolutely my connection with all the beautiful animals. And yes, then the next thing I did was go and live in a condo. Um, look at various animal communicators on YouTube sometimes to hear their message. Yeah, and there are, I would encourage you, I follow all kinds of people because I want to know more. I know that there's so much more for me to learn still. So I'm glad that you do that. And yeah, prices. I'm not worried about, I just don't let that come into my, um, it's not how I plan what I do. So when I provide private sessions to people, it's one-to-one. It's me and you. So whoever's watching this that may be interested in that, you just get in touch with me. All the links are either on my website or they're in my on my YouTube description. You get in touch with me and we work it out. There are some people who want to pay for others. Like I've had pay it forwards. So I just don't let that be part of what I do. And the universe seems to that seems to work out. Like things just always work out when I don't worry about the money end of it. Money's a very human thing. It's a very human thing. There's no animal that ever asks to be paid or who wants to pay. And there's also no animal that needs to learn how to communicate with people. They get it. I'm going to scroll. Okay, so I'm just reading comments. I don't like to read them in silence. All right. And then, and Kali says, I can only speak for myself, but when you need to take some downtime, then you absolutely do it. And I think, Kali, you are doing that, right? As I was scrolling through some of the comments, you're taking some personal time for yourself. And I even feel the same way. You could tell last week, even as I was doing the live stream, we had some heavy duty family stuff going on. That's what brought me back to Colorado from Wisconsin. And I won't bore you with all the details. We all have stuff that goes on in our lives, whether it is with our families, our careers, our lives, our health, whatever that may be. But you could probably tell that there was some heaviness going on. And when you need to step back, you need to step back. So for me, sometimes I do have difficulty stepping back personally. And you guys, some of you on here may also feel this way, that you are always there for others and not there for yourself. So I would love you to take Kali's advice that sometimes you need to take time for yourself. And then I also love, Jody knows this, and Sharon knows this, Sherry knows this. We were in a conversation earlier in the week in which someone said, it's like being a hummingbird. We were talking about all the different things we love to do and how we go here and there, and we don't always finish what was over here before we float on to the next flower. I love the idea of being a hummingbird. And so I just float from flower to flower, enjoying the things that I do. And maybe that's a beautiful piece of advice for everyone too, from not our animal companions, but from a beautiful little bird who shares the planet with us. Just allow yourself to flit from flower to flower, enjoying your life. Okay, let's see, what else do we got here? I think that might have been all the questions in the beginning. Okay. All right. So I will let you guys, if there's things that you want to talk about amongst yourselves, that is what the chat is for, and you are all welcome to do that. Let's see if there's anything else on my notes. The format of this particular live stream, I've been doing the live stream now for, gosh, I don't even remember when I started it. Was it January of 2023? And I've been pretty consistent every Monday. Occasionally we'll miss a Monday. There'll be a holiday or the one time, oh my gosh, we had the norovirus. And then we had, like last week, the internet went out. But for the most part, I try to stick to every single Monday going live. And the format has evolved over time. And now I'm really being drawn to let you ask questions. There's always a topic that comes to me that I'm inspired by. Something will happen during the week, or I will receive just a download, and that will inspire the topic. But your questions also lead me to what we should talk about. They let me know what you are interested in learning more about, and I am happy to explore anything. I love exploring all of these spiritual, metaphysical, I guess that's the word for it, connections that we have with our animal companions. All right, I think that's it for now. So let's get on to the topic. Pets open the gates to heaven. I want to start by saying that I believe in a divine being, and I call it a divine being when I was raised, as we all know, because sometimes we have a running joke. For anybody who's unfamiliar, we have a running joke about nuns, because I was raised as a Catholic, and I went to Catholic school, and it was an experience for me. So think about the 60s and the early 70s. It was still a very, I was raised in a very religious family, in a very Catholic family. And I believed, and I still believe in God, not necessarily God. And I'm explaining this for a reason, not necessarily God as definitely not an old white man with a beard who sits on a cloud throwing down lightning bolts, waiting for us to screw up so that we can be punished. I don't believe that at all. I believe that there is a creator of all things, including us, including you, including me, including every single animal companion who's ever shared our life. I believe, and it is the basis for a lot of what I talk about, in this divine creator. And I don't have any other words for it. And I don't mean divine as in some higher, better than me, better than you being. I mean it as like a beautiful, radiant, inspired being who has created everything in order to better understand itself, who wants to be you, who wants to be me, who wants to be our animal companions, who wants to be a tree, who wants to be a rock, who wants to be an alien, who wants to be a cloud. We can't even imagine what this being desires. And so I believe that we are all part of that. And we have evolved over time again and again and again. I've also been studying ancient history. I study all kinds of things. I never stop being a learner, a lifelong learner, and looking at ancient history and thinking about all of the civilizations that have come before us here now and what our civilization looks like, and exploring this and understanding. And we are coming to a place in our particular consciousness, in our universal consciousness, all the people who share the planet right now, where we are waking up to the fact that there is more to life than what we thought. We don't just live and die and pay taxes. We all are born, we all live, we all die, and we all live again, not necessarily right here in a physical body, but we transition back to a place where we have access to all the beautiful things that allow us to communicate with each other, that allow us to communicate, to do so much, to do so many things that we can't even begin to imagine. And imagination is just a wonderful part of that also. So I preface what I'm going to talk about with this divine creator, because I believe that this divine creator, whatever you want to call that, everybody has a different version of that. That may be a traditional version of God. That may be a religious version of God. That may be just the sense of a higher being, or it can be whatever that is for you, whatever that particular higher power is for you. There's no judgment when it comes to that. We're all developing our own understanding of that. And as we begin to wake up to this, our animal companions have come to join us because for many reasons. I think that animals come into our life for many reasons, and not just the animals that share our home, but every single animal comes into our life for a reason. Whether it's the raccoon that knocks over your trash cans, whether it is a snake that you happen to see if you're walking through the woods, whether it is your own animal companions, whether it's a neighbor's dog that doesn't stop barking, what every single animal comes into our life for a reason. And if we could just take a moment and stop and reflect on what that reason may be, like right now, there are at least 3 crows that are right outside my window. And I'm wondering why. What message do they have for me? Why are they? Could it just be because there's a dumpster across the way? I don't know that there is. I'm just suggesting that. But could it, but, or are they here because they want me to know that all of the birds are listening to this message at this moment in time. So all animals come into our life for a reason. The animals that come to share our home, this is my belief. I can only share with you my personal experience. I believe they come into our life to understand what our physical life is like. So we welcome this beautiful animal, and sometimes they come through right through hell and high water. Who knows how my gypsy came to me? You guys all have different stories about, we've talked about this, about the way your animals have come into your life. They come into our life to get a better understanding of what it's like to live in a physical body. We are here experiencing a physical experience on earth. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I go, I believe that this is a failed experiment. This is not working out so hot. We've got war, we've got famine, we've got X, Y, and Z. And that's just globally about your own personal life, thinking like, okay, I wouldn't have picked that for me. So let's rewrite the story. And then an animal companion comes into our life and they begin to understand what me personally, you personally. So let's go with Kali. Kali has an animal companion who comes into her life. Ozzy, I can't remember, Kali, who's in your life right now. But an animal companion comes into your life to get a better understanding of what you are going through life like physically. They reflect the things that happen to us. They reflect back to us the way that we act. They reflect back to us our stress. But I believe it's because they're learning. They are learning about being in a physical body. And then a lot of times they end up loving their own physical body, right? They love when we give them a little treat, or what it's like to run free in the woods if we go to a dog park, or any number of things, what it's like to sit in the sun. They realize how beautiful it is to be in a physical body. They stay with us for as long as their job, if that's what it is, for as long as it takes for them to accomplish what they came here to accomplish. And then when they do, they transition over to the other side. And we're going to talk about grief and guilt in just a moment. They transition to the other side. And once they are there, they now are not only spiritual beings, but they're spiritual beings who had a physical experience. And they now know what it means when we say, I'm just tired. I'm tired. Can I just get a break? I just need something to go my way. And your animal companion goes, I know that feeling. I know what that means. I know exactly what that feels like and exactly what that means. So let's all conspire together and let's find a way to give mom and dad a break. And that's how they help us from the other side. The other thing that they're helping us with from the other side is waking up to the fact that they are not dead. I used to shy away from using the word died and dead. Um, and now I don't, because they're not dead. Their little physical body stopped working. The thing that we love to snuggle and hold stopped working, but who they are, their soul, their spirit, their energy, it didn't stop. And they're teaching us, and they're learning also right alongside of us. When we talk about, we are going to get to more about communication and signs next week. That was supposed to be tonight. We are going to talk more about communication and signs, because they are, can you imagine being something as amazing as the universe, if that's what you call the divine creator, something as amazing as the universe gone, oh, I just learned all your beautiful animal companions just came back into spirit and showed me something amazing that I didn't know before. So that it's they are also learning how to be our partners in spirit as much as we are learning how to still connect with them in spirit. I think I'm getting off topic, so let me just check my notes here real quick, what I wanted to say about that. Um, oh, so that heaven, and I've mentioned this many times before, heaven is not some far off place. We love this place called the Rainbow Bridge, a place where our animal companions wait for us until our physical being is no longer, and excuse me, we transition to the other side. But they're not waiting there for us because they're right with us, right here, right now, not a metaphor, not just a happy little thought. They are right here with us. And all of you who have ever received a sign, all of you who have ever felt your animal companion in one way or another, whether it's me hearing Jack drink from the toilet the day after he passed, whether it is a dream, if you've ever a feeling like a cat jumping onto the bed, whatever, they are getting through to you to let you know that they are right here. And it's not just a nice thought. They are right here. Quantum entanglement is what I started to talk about last week. What that means is that your animal companion is your animal companion, not anybody else's. They will always be yours, especially those that we felt were soul pets. So, a soulmate that came into your life in the form of an animal companion, your hearts are connected. And again, it's not a metaphor and it's not a happy thought. And I mean, it is a happy thought, but it's not just a little part of your imagination that goes, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if there really was a cord that connected us across time and space? There is a cord that connects you across time and space because your hearts are intertwined. Your hearts are entangled and they can never not be entangled. And just because something physical ends here on earth it doesn't break this. I mean, this bond cannot be broken. What I'm doing here with my hands, that's it. It doesn't matter what their physical body looks like. Your hearts are forever entwined. And we're going to do a little, at the very end of the evening tonight, I want to be able to take you on a journey, not just a journey. I want you to feel this. I want you to know it as much as I know it. I want you to believe it with full faith, and not just faith and belief, but a knowing. And I think that's also part of the awakening that's going on, is that we used to have faith and we used to have hope and we trusted in the things that we were taught and we believed the things that we were taught. But now we know the things, and we know some of the things that we were taught were not accurate. And I am going to go to Kali's little comment there that says that she was looking at some records and realized that she's been gaslighted for the past 2 years. I think we've been gaslighted for our whole life. And just now we're waking up. It's like someone handed us our records and we went, no way. We have been gaslighted all this time and we are finally gone, no more, done. We know now what is real. And I want to talk about grief and guilt in just a second, but quantum entanglement. So it's all connected. We are all connected. And that's all the quantum entanglement is. Now, we have in our beautiful, lovely, flawed little earth, our little planet with all these 8 billion people, trillion people, I don't know how many people there are. But we have religion and we have science and spirituality, and there are physicists and scientists who need to prove everything. And I'm thinking that isn't that sweet that you need to prove something? Isn't that nice that you need to figure out the math, that you need to figure out the equation that proves that there's a universe, that proves that there's something out there bigger than us, that we're in this field, and that when I think of somebody who I haven't thought of in 10 years and they call me on the phone the next day, they're coming up with the math that proves that that's true. And I think, who came up with the math? Okay, the divine creator, the universe came up with the math. The physicists are getting the same kind of download that we are, only theirs happens to be equations that they write out on a big whiteboard somewhere, or some computer somewhere. Um, so maybe that's even why last week when I started to talk about quantum entanglement, that it was getting a little too deep into the weeds of what quantum is, when we can just accept that there is this beautiful field of energy. It floats to, through, and around us. And you are not just in the field, you are the field. You are the field. And if you were to, I love to do this in the morning. I love to just lay in bed in that space between awake and asleep. I call it the sweet spot. You can do it at night before you fall asleep, although I like to use that spot to kind of program my subconscious mind. As I'm drifting off to sleep, I do not want to revisit all the storm, the S storm, the SHIT storm that went on throughout the day. I don't need to revisit that. I choose to fall asleep in that sweet spot, programming what I would love to dream about. Sometimes I just say, I would just love to dream. I would love a really cool dream, whatever it is, whatever my subconscious mind wants to come up with. I'm all on board. Like I'm not going to. I have crazy dreams. If anybody has, we've done an episode on dreams before too. I have some crazy dreams. I like to use that spot to program my subconscious with what I would like to think about as I fall off to sleep. So I don't want to rehash things. In the morning when I wake up, in that spot when I'm between awake and asleep, I love to welcome thoughts, welcome the new day, welcome all the really cool things that are ahead of me. I fill my heart with love. I send it out to the universe. I send it back. It's like giving the universe a big hug. And then things seem to fall into place. And I've learned this from my animal companions. They are the ones who taught me how to go into this space and just to be and to love, because love is the secret. Again, not a metaphor, not just a happy thought, not just a wouldn't that be lovely. Love, capital LOVE. It is the fabric that holds everything together. And I have one more thing to say about love in just a moment. Okay. All right. So our beautiful universe has created each one of us and our animal companions in order to expand, experience, evolve. And we are evolving right along with it. And as I've said this before too, and I can't remember, I don't know who came up with the saying, but as all ships rise with the tide. And that's what we are doing here also. I want to talk about guilt. The number one thing holding you back from feeling a connection to your animal companions, well, the number one thing is stress. In my mind, the unnecessary thing that is holding us back from being able to connect with our animal companions is guilt. Guilt is man-made. Guilt is something we're taught. Guilt is something that was created. Guilt is not our natural state. And when our animal companions cross, we sometimes question, should I, would I, could I have done something different for them? Could I have extended their life is essentially what we're saying. Could I have made their life better? Could I have extended their life? Could I have eased their pain? And we keep that guilt within us. They transition out of their physical body to the other side. We hold on to the guilt and we replay it again and again and again. So I offered this suggestion last week, and I will offer it again here. When you are feeling guilty about something that you think you should have done or something that you didn't do, every time you have a guilty thought, replace it with a loving thought. Love trumps guilt. And every single time that you let go of a guilty thought and replace it with a loving thought, you will find that the loving thoughts start to appear more and more and more. And all of a sudden, if your guilt was all the way up here and your love was all the way down there, all of a sudden the scales tip. And then you'll just notice that the guilt goes away. And what you're left with is love. And the guilt has healed itself with loving thoughts. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you. The second thing that I want to share, and this is the thing that really opens the doors to the gates to heaven. Our animal companions came to teach us unconditional love. And I think you guys will agree with me. Guys will agree that our unconditional love is when our animal companions loved us no matter what. They didn't care if we brushed our teeth. They didn't care that we were rude to a next door neighbor. They didn't care about whether or not we had makeup on. They didn't care whether we shaved. They didn't care if they didn't care if we ate the wrong thing for dinner last night. None of that mattered to them. They just loved us and they wanted us to love them in return. Unconditional love is all anybody wants. We all want to be loved for exactly who we are and for nothing less. For all of our beauty and all of our flaws, we want to be loved for the person that we are. And our animal companions showed us that they were capable of, not just capable of that, they did it without question. There was no question ever about unconditional love. That's what it was. And it's what makes us feel so sad when they cross to the other side, because we feel that we have lost that unconditional love. We look around us, and as much as our family may love us, as much as we have good relationships with friends and besties and coworkers, and there's always a level of judgment that comes with that, whether or not we recognize it on a conscious level. There's always a level of judgment, and we just want to be unconditionally loved. So this is the next step in unconditional love. Our animals are asking us. They're not just asking us, they are stepping up. They are stepping up. There is a spotlight right on them. And our animal companions are saying, please show me unconditional love. That means don't love a memory. Don't love a, I can think of Lucy and I can cherish the memory of Lucy, her goofy little, oh my gosh, whenever she's a foodie. And I love that memory of her goofy little face when I would get out the cookies. Her eyes just kind of glazed over with cookies. It's a fun little memory. But what they're saying to us, this is coming directly from Lucy, is, yep, that's a fun memory. Just like when you were a little kid and you had a fun memory about yourself. But I would like you to love me right now for who I am. I don't have a body right now. I am a spirit. I'm an amazing spirit. You know, she came to me in the dream as a wolf. Our animal companions are saying we are on the out of our physical bodies. We are in a place where we are spirit, soul, energy, and if you would just love us for who we are right now, that is true unconditional love. That is true unconditional love. To love your animal companion, even though they have left their physical body and you no longer have them by your side to snuggle and hug, that they love you. They love you 100 million times more than they ever did when they were in their physical body. And they're just asking for that same thing back. That is what opens the gates to heaven. When we can learn to unconditionally love and our animal companions, right? We don't want to judge them. We would never dream of judging our animal companion, but we do often let the love feel like it's lost. And that's what they're teaching us. They're teaching us it isn't lost. It's not gone. And if we would just open our hearts and love them like we always did, even though it hurts a little bit. Our hearts we're human beings. We have hearts that feel all kinds of things. We have so many emotions. Lean into the emotion if it makes you feel a little sad. That's okay. But love anyway. Love always, love first, love anyway. Just love. And you will have opened the gates to heaven right here and now. Wow. Unconditional love. Maybe that's what I should have called this instead of just opening the gates to heaven. Oh, the last little thing. There's one other thing I wrote down here, that you are unique. You are unique. You are the only creation like you. There is not a single other thing that is just like you. And your animal companion is the same way. There's no other animal companion that was ever like them. My Jack, my Lucy, my Winston, there's no other animals. They're all unique beings. So that relationship that you have with them, when we talked about quantum entanglement, it's because you guys were literally meant for each other. You were meant to be together in the past, now, in the future, for now and for all time. You were meant to be together with your animal companion in your own beautiful, wonderful, unique way. I'm going to check some comments and some questions, and then I'm going to do a card pull. Love the hair. Thank you, Caroline. You can also tell when there's been a burden lifted off my shoulder. It just comes through in all parts of me. So thank you. I appreciate that. They try to say it was all in your head. Okay, so I'm not going to go down there. I get it, Kali, and thank you for introducing the topic of being gaslighted, because we've been gaslighted all along, and now we're finally waking up. Okay, so I will let you guys continue to talk amongst yourselves. Let's do a card pull. So this is something that I want to start doing on a regular basis as part of this live stream. I love my cards. I love my oracle cards. I enjoy them because they're not tarot cards. They don't predict the future. They don't tell you to turn left instead of right. Um, or something horrible is going to happen. It's nothing like that at all. Oracle cards are ways to receive beautiful messages from the other side, especially when we don't know what we're asking, perhaps. Like this, I have no idea what I'm asking tonight. I know who I'm asking on behalf of, and I've got a card right here, so I'll tell you how I do this in a second. This is the deck that I'm using this evening. The Oracle card deck that I'm using is the Kyle Gray deck, Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards, and that's the little guidebook that comes with it. I love my Angels and Ancestors deck. These are messages of hope and healing and love, and they are ways for us to get information out of the quantum field. Now, for me, I don't question anymore. I have no doubts. I have no questions. I occasionally have doubts about different things, but not about this. When I sit down with my pen and my paper and I ask the universe, or I ask Lucy, or I ask an animal, an angel, ancestor, alien, when I ask for something, I trust that I'm being given that information and I begin to write it. I just use my little copybook and I don't have my big pen. Tonight is a pencil. But I just begin to write it down. But it took a long time to get to that level of trust between me and the universe for me to understand and access and trust the messages that I receive. But you can still get messages and information from the universe, and I love to do it with oracle cards. There are a number of ways to do it, but oracle cards are one. So what I do is I just take this beautiful little deck. I'm going to show you the back of one of the cards because I just think it's so cool. I love symbols, and of course I love animals. So we've got a little owl there, and the directions, northwest, south, and the elements, air and fire and water. That's why I love these particular cards, and I just shuffle them. Now this card fell out. When a card falls out, then I trust that that's one of the cards we were supposed to receive. But I specifically wanted to do this on behalf of a kitty cat named Humphrey. So Miss Stacy, this is for your beautiful Humphrey, and Humphrey would like to send this message for you. And now I'm getting a card for Humphrey, and then I'll read the card that came out for the rest of us. Let's see what this beautiful message is. Now this is a message for the beautiful Stacy from her kitty cat Humphrey, but more often than not, the message is meant for more than one person. And there may be any number of you who take away this message. Let's see what the card is. It's a surprise for me as much as it is for you. And it is the Druid. Hold the space. I think didn't last week I started to talk about what holding space meant? Holding space means nothing else matters. When I hold space for a person or an animal, for example, when I share Reiki at end of life, I am holding space for that animal, and that means nothing else matters. Only that animal, only that person. Everything else in the whole wide world just dissolves into nothingness because I am dedicating. You have my undivided attention when I'm working with you. And that's the card Druid, holding space. So I'm going to open my little book. Each oracle deck usually comes with a little guidebook. Now, this book is not necessarily in order. There's a lot of, there are seasons, there are phases of the moon, but let's see if I can find the Druid. I would prefer if it was in alphabetical order, but I didn't create it. And okay, little Druid. Real fast. Come on, come on, come on. Druid. Here we go. The Druid and holding space. The message from Humphrey. Hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong, knowing you are where you are supposed to be. The Druids were the ancient wise ones of the British Isles. They had a deep connection with the earth and the sun and the moon. They were the scholars who created the Ogham tree language. I think I pronounced that right, Ogham. And they were known for their creative skills in storytelling, poetry, and craftsmanship. When the Druid card appears in a reading, you're being guided to dig deep within and hold your station. If you're wondering what to do next or have a sense of anxiety about what is unfolding in your life, it's time to shift your perceptions and move back into a state of trust. Don't change your plans or do anything drastic. Trust the process. Let everything happen as it needs to before taking any further steps. Think of a tree. It has strong roots, yet continues to grow and bear fruit. Your life will be a reflection of this. That is our message from Humphrey. And now I am going to read the one that came up for, I haven't looked at this card either, as much a surprise for you as it is, and for me as it is for you. So this is the message for the rest of us. Ooh, the Trader. Exchange energy to create abundance. Wow. Pat, why am I thinking that this goes back to the very first question that you asked about what I charge for my readings and how it doesn't matter. So let's see what the book says about the man who trades, the Trader. Okay, the Trader. Exchange energy to create abundance. And this may be for anybody who's got any who's thinking about doing anything. I think about people who are on a spiritual path like me. We often struggle with the concept of that monetary exchange. So if there's anybody who's having questions about that, make connections and exchange information, talents, or support. The Trader brings the lesson and energy of exchange. When he appears, he could represent an opportunity to exchange talents, whatever that may be, in order to expand, or it could be about the exchange of energies that come from the universe, or both. For example, if you're a creative person or consider yourself creative, when you share your talents, you are giving them. And when you do so, the universe will give you more in order for you to share more. It's a beautiful cycle. It reminds you to be open and honest and act with integrity in all of your exchanges. Wow. I love it. So that was our message for us. It goes on actually for another page, so I'm not going to read you the whole page. I just want to see if there's anything that jumps out at me. The exchange of energy doesn't necessarily mean financial energy. It can also be about supporting in order to feel supported. If you've been holding back with your offerings, now's the time to change that. Allow yourself to be open, honest, and vulnerable. Okay. All right. I would love to know if you guys have any questions, because that about wraps up my topic for this evening. I'm going to scroll down and see if there are any questions. I'm also usually unusual animals, oracle, and bar spirits. Oh, Dana, I love all kinds of cards. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Love is all you need, dude. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. I can't hold a tune, but love is all you need. Love is all you need, and that's not a metaphor either. It's all you need. Yeah, so these cards are awesome. I see that Dana said she uses these cards also. They're across the room, but the two decks that I brought with me to the Rocky Mountains are the Angels and Oracle deck, and also that Animal Spirit deck that Pat first introduced us to a while back. That's also one of my favorite decks. But they're great ways to get beautiful messages. And sometimes I had no idea. I'm very certain that the message from Humphrey has a very specific meaning. But for the rest of us, just let me know. If Elaine made a deck, there would have to be a nun card. I think you're right. There would have, and but see, maybe it would be the Mother Teresa card that I would include in my deck. And I have thought about making an animal deck myself, because I often have in my work with animals. So I do animal Reiki, animal communication. It goes far beyond this channel that's dedicated for those of us who've been through pet loss. My whole I don't like vocation. That's the word. My whole vocation has to do with animals. And when I work with animal communication and teaching animal Reiki, and I teach a lot of psychic development stuff. Hi, Cheryl. Did I miss you earlier? I'm sorry. I would buy the deck as well. Oh, well, I'll work on that. If my little hummingbird self flits from flower to flower, I've got a couple things going on behind the scenes. One really cool thing in particular, that has to do with Reiki for pets. And I will share that with you guys only once the flower begins to open up. But yeah, I've got a couple things going on, but maybe that deck is out there. Let's see, was there anything else? Unusual animals. Oh, I just started to say there are a lot of decks out. oracle card decks out there, and there are a lot of different animal communication things out there, and there are a lot of different animal spirit guides. And that's actually what I think that I would like to expand on if I were to do something like this. There are so many things when I look at them that I just think, no, it's more of the same. It's more like, yes, the fox is the coyote is clever. Yes, the fox can be, or the coyote can be the trickster. Yes, I'm fixated on the fox. A fox is sly. There you go. An owl is wise. The crocodile is grounded. I mean, there are things that we recognize in certain species that we have given them characteristics that we think also go on to the spirit animal. I think I would love to do something about spirit animals that's completely inspired, where if I chose the picture of the rattlesnake, that I would get a true insight about what the meaning behind that rattlesnake was. But anyhow, you got me started on what I would do with cards. Joint project. Out animal companion noses. I'll draw you right. Oh, collie. Wow. That would be cool. That would be really cool, because we've seen the pictures that you make of the noses. For those of you who may not know, or you may be watching this video at a different time, Collie, who is And Then There Was Me, does this beautiful artwork of animal noses that is just incredible. It's also a beautiful way to honor our animal companions after they've crossed. All right, my friends, I'm going to just take one more quick peek to make sure I haven't missed anything. If I have, because there's a whole lot of comments here, if I have missed something, and I didn't get a chance to say hello, it's good to see you. Jacqueline, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here with us before. Here's Aaron. It is so nice to have you here tonight. Sharon's passed over a year ago. I still get almost nightly visits. We can have, I mean, it can be all the time. We don't even have to have nightly visits. I know that I walk with Jack and Lucy by my side all the time. And it's not even Jack and Lucy anymore. It's Jack and Lucy, Lucy and Jack. They're like one. They walk beside me all the time. I never stop thinking about them. I never stop talking to them. They are with me always, forever, and forevermore. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling now. Okay, my friends, I'm just going to check to see. I forgot to say that I would have asked my Black Cat Spirit Guide, and I received the name of Archangel Metatron. Oh, we can talk about archangels sometimes too. Go with whatever you receive. When you ask a question, write it down. Just write that. It's the first thing I do. Just write down the answer, whatever comes into your mind first, even if it's just a feeling. Maybe I'll do another little flower for the hummingbird to flit to was how we can all work with automatic writing to receive messages from our animal companions on the other side. But we can ask any question, write down instantly what you receive, and trust the answer that you receive. Our animal companions. That's one of the reasons. Last thing about this topic. There are people who receive messages from the field, from the other side, whatever you want to call it, in all different ways. There are people who channel. So Suzanne Giesman, who I learned a lot of my mediumship from, she channels a spirit called Sanaya. There is a man named Lee Harris who also taught me practical ways of how to receive information, not just mediumship. Lee Harris channels a group of entities. I'm going to use the word entity, even though it has a negative connotation, a group of souls called the Z's. We all receive information in different ways. There are some people who close their eyes and receive the information. There are some people who change their voice. They get an accent. They'll start speaking a different language. They'll start speaking a light language. People receive information in all different ways, and not everybody buys into that. So if you listen to there's another Lee. So let's just stick with Lee Harris, because he's a really grounded guy, down to earth. Lee Harris channels a group of souls called the Z's, like the letter Z, because they all have names like Zechariah and Zebediah, and I can't think of them all. He closes his eyes and he receives information, and he just shares out that information. Some people don't like that, and they just don't believe it because they don't understand it. And I totally get it. I used to be a complete skeptic about that. I'd be like, oh, please. I'd be the person rolling their eyes. Oh, please. Seriously, um, now I totally understand it and I accept it. But here's why I do what I do, because I think our animals know that we trust them implicitly. Our animals would never deceive us. Our animal companions would never frighten us. Our animal companions would never harm us. Our animal companions do nothing but love us. And so when we can receive messages from our animal companions, we trust and believe and know that it's true. Okay. Um, oh, Kali, thank you so much, sweetheart. A decadent piece of cake. Well, I will and experience the food for Lucy. Thank you so much. I will do that and I will take pictures. There's a really cool bakery here in Breckenridge. I will do that and I will take a picture and I will allow Lucy to enjoy the flavor and the taste of that. Her little eyes would just roll up whenever whenever there was good food about. She was such a foodie. Okay, beautiful people. Elaine, Jacqueline Brescian lost a fur baby today. Oh, Jacqueline, did I miss that? Please know that my heart goes out to you. For anybody who is watching this, Jacqueline, right now, anybody who is watching this in the future because you've lost an animal companion, my heart is absolutely with you. I know what it feels like. I know the immediacy of it. I know the anguish of it. I've been on the peaceful side with Lucy. I've been on the anguish side with Winston. I understand, and please know that my heart goes out to you and that the messages we receive here on this channel are meant to help support you. Every single person, as I can already see from the comments, every single person is virtually giving you a hug, holding you, holding space for you, letting you know that we are with you, we understand you, we empathize with you, we know what it feels like. And you are welcome here every single Monday. Every single Monday, just come on in, join, and even if you don't join in the conversation, know that we are here to help us all work through wherever we happen to be on this journey of grief into a journey of love, so that the gates of heaven open for us. All right, my friends. I think that's it for now. Yes, we are family, Charlie. We are absolutely family. I think that have I met anybody on this channel? I don't know. I try whenever I go from place to place, I try to get together with people, but I feel like we have known each other for eons, eons. We've got such a great family of people here. Okay, my friends, we are done. Have a good week, everybody. Have a beautiful week. I will see you again next Monday. And until then, may animals light your way. Take care.